Guys, we have a big announcement to make. My boyfriend is leaving me. To be fair, he's just leaving me for like 5 days, but I'm still pissed off, okay? I'm gonna surprise him by transforming our entire bedroom in the next 7 days for absolutely abandoning me. Hey guys, welcome to my bedroom. I hate it. I hate my bedroom, and there are two reasons why I hate it. Number one, there is so much potential in this room. We have a beautiful arched window. I have all of this space, wall mural that I painted, bookshelves, and all of this like potential. Number two, I'm actually somebody that used to have a really cool bedroom, especially when I was 17 or 16 maybe. It hit the peak of like bedroom coolness where people would literally come in and hang out in my bedroom. No one's doing that shit anymore. This room literally looks like I broke into it and I'm squatting here, homeless in my own bedroom. Step number one is dealing with my wardrobe, which is truly horrendously managed. And for someone who's not particularly fashionable, I have a lot of fucking clothes. And I think that's because I'm friends with all the inanimate objects that I've grown up with, especially my clothes. And that's because it's like a skin I wore during those seasons in my life. So when I look at certain clothes, I can see 2018 Sarah or 2014 Sarah. I like to say it's like a cartoon character design. I'm also someone that likes to rewear clothes, shoes, and accessories over and over again. It's like when you have a food hyperfixation, I get that way when I dress. And it's not even like I'm saving all of these clothes for my future kids or anything. It's just like scrapbooking on crack. And to be honest, this is probably how hoarders feel. I literally have clothes in here from when I moved to London in 2012. So the first step in my huge cleaning up of the wardrobe was making a big donation pile, because if I'm genuinely friends with all of my clothes, I need to be able to let them go. They need to like go live out their life and go make friends with other people and other clothes, I guess, and go on crazy adventures. And all they're doing in my closet is sit and collecting dust. This applies to all of my clothes apart from one hoodie, which belonged to a late family member of mine. And every time I hug it, I get like a glimpse of what it would have been like to give him a big hug. Oh my god, that's so sad. But like genuinely, I have not worn that hoodie since, and it like still hurts to wear it. So maybe one day I can set my jacket friend free and let him go and make adventures too. But for now, he's like my companion during tough times, you know? I also want to preface by saying that this entire room transformation took place during the hottest fucking days of the year. And what made day one so much worse is the fact that I was painfully hungover. So in the midst of a heat wave in London, I sorted out my entire closet, made donation piles, and reorganized my closet to have a Sarah and Lewis section. For those who don't know, Lewis is my boyfriend, and since my boyfriend and I moved in together a year ago, my bedroom has become our bedroom. And I haven't had that since I was 15, which was the last time me and my sister Avni shared a room. So the idea of turning it into a cool bedroom felt like a really daunting fucking task. And this is because it isn't just my space anymore, it's our space. In the last hour of my wardrobe clear out, I started having a small identity crisis, which was definitely heat induced with hints of anxiety, where I started beating myself up about being messy. And honestly, I do have a high mess threshold, but I'm not a dirty person, and I just needed a system for my closet which made it efficient to be clean. So 5 hours and a mild identity crisis later, this is what my closet looks like before and after. I really don't want to clean. I really don't want to fucking clean. I've been dilly-dallying so much. I've had like 2 showers, 2 breakfasts. I went for a whole walk because I'm like, yeah, no, I need this to get in the headspace. I don't. It's a beautiful day outside. The last thing I want to do is empty out my fucking drawer. Welcome to day 2 of me forcing myself to clean in the midst of a heat wave. And like I said, we started out by cleaning these tiny little fucking drawers, which essentially have become garbage cans in my bedroom. Going into cleaning these bedside tables, I genuinely had no idea of what I was going to find in there. But thankfully, I just found some like old receipts, a lot of chargers, some really good hairbands, and Minecraft figurines from like the Minecraft premiere, and they were Lego, and so I got distracted from cleaning and I built them with serious dedication. This is the big one. I don't even ever look at this. Its existence gives me anxiety. I have a fridge for skincare which isn't plugged in. Old coffees, interdental floss, mascara, I really dilly-dally about starting to clean up, and then I get hyper-fixated and I got in the zone, y'all. And at this point, I'd become ruthless about what to keep and what to throw away, because I'd been doing a lot of research going into this bedroom transformation about feng shui, if that's how you say it. And it talks about how cluttered spaces in your room actually reduce the flow of chi in your bedroom. And chi is the energy that flows through all living things and the universe. Think of it like an invisible energy that kind of keeps things alive, moving, and connected. It's similar to the idea of prana in Indian philosophy. The next thing we're doing is going through all of my bags. I have a ton of bags and I again use them as like a portable garbage bin. Research of feng shui really reminded me of this super strange experience I had when I went to see Tahiti with Disney for the Moana movie. First of all, insane flex. Secondly, I am so fucking grateful. During one of our sightseeing tours of French Polynesia, we went to a neighboring island called Raiatea, which is about 200 kilometers away from the mainland. And we had a tour of one of like the most spiritual places in the area, and we had a guide for it. So our guide spoke to us about how the island and the mainland is flowing with this spiritual energy called mana, which makes the island feel so alive in a very different way from what I'd ever experienced before. And the whole island, the mainland, the flowers, plants, and ocean were just full of life. And that's the best way I can describe it. Obviously, y'all, I don't think I can bring that insanely powerful energy back to my city apartment in London. But maybe I can at least apply a few principles to free up some of the blocked chi in my bedroom. Feng Shui talks about how having items under your bed, blocking your doorway, cluttering your closets can increase the feeling of baggage in your room. So I guess we better lock it. It's the same day. I've just changed my clothes because it's way too warm in here. Why do I keep doing this in the warmest days of the year? I had cleared out my bedside tables, my bags, which had become portable trash cans, and set some inanimate objects on my bookshelves free and set them off to a little adventure to go get recycled and become something new. Now we're gonna tackle this beast. Before anyone says anything, this is for my face, you perverts. I have eczema. By this point, I think I need to explain to you guys why the fuck I have such insane attachment issues to the inanimate objects in my bedroom. And this is just my theory, okay? But I'm gonna give you like a little mini lore drop so this makes sense. I've actually moved houses 9 times in my life. So twice back home in India and then 7 times since I moved to London in 2012. We moved around a lot because my mom used to rent. 1, because we obviously couldn't afford to immediately buy a place in London because it's crazy fucking expensive. And 2, we didn't actually know how long we're going to be in the country for since all of us were on my mom's work visa. But in the midst of this heat wave, we had a successful day too, because you'll be proud to know that now my bedroom is clutter free. I'm literally so tired, it's insane. Let me show you all the room. Look at this. Why does it look the same? Step 3, and one of the most important steps, painting my bedroom wall. The last time I did this, I had a huge argument with Lewis. He was trying to get me to express my creativity and I was like, I just want to paint my wall. To be honest, in hindsight, I feel like I should have listened to him. I did not express my creativity. I kind of just low-key made a bit of a mess. Number 2 is the fact that Avni painted a wall mural in her bedroom, and that shit took 6 months and 3 breakdowns. Hopefully that doesn't happen to me because I need to finish this entire room transformation in 7 days. It's finally time for the big one, which is painting my wall. Welcome to day 3 of my bedroom transformation during a heat wave, and I am making my way to the nearest paint shop this morning to go buy some white paint to cover up what we did to my bedroom wall 3 years ago. Initially, I was gonna do a full chalkboard wall, but according to Feng Shui rules, introducing soothing colors is the way to go. So I decided to go back to my research and discovered the lime wash effect on Pinterest, and I was enamored. It's 29 degrees outside and we're inside painting a wall. I have my white paint acquired. I'm actually a little emotional. This painted wall has caused so many arguments. It's actually been around a lot of late night conversations. I've actually grown fond of like all of the splatter. I do think this is my attachment issues to things. What's helping me right now is even though I'm gonna paint it over with white paint, it's still gonna be underneath. This is literally why I take my medication. To add my own spin on the lime wash effect, I decided to draw a fun design on it too. Fortunately, there was no lime wash paint at the shop, so I decided to buy some white paint and then mix it with one of the tester cans called Rust, so I could like DIY the lime wash effect. I genuinely think I have way too much faith in my ability to DIY sometimes. Like, if you guys haven't seen what I've done to my hair at home already when I get in my DIY headspace, you know to be truly afraid of what's to come next. On day 3 of the room transformation, transformation, Lewis had to go away to see his family for a week. And I decided to not tell him that I'm going to completely change our bedroom. He genuinely just thought I was doing a spring clean. But I realized that I need to surprise him instead. Because one, I needed to take the pressure off of the fact that I was finding it daunting to change our collective space. And two, I thought it would be actually hilarious to see his reaction at the end of it. Step one was painting over the mushroom wall to give us a clean slate for our lime wash effect. Whilst painting my wall, I started having a mild identity crisis, again probably heat induced, because I slowly started convincing myself that I am afraid of becoming codependent with Lewis. Don't get me wrong, I am literally so happy with him. We've been together for over 3 years and that is my husband, y'all. But I'm still in my early 20s and it's so cool to have found your person super young. Like, we met when we were 17. But your 20s are a season of self-discovery in your life. What's really nice though is that there's days when him and I are just like best friends. Like, we literally become platonic, but I quite like that because I think the idea of being constantly romantic with someone makes me feel like a little bit claustrophobic. Like, there are days when I wake up with a massive crush on him, and then there are other days when I wake up and we just like laugh about something stupid for hours. So when we moved in together, I was really worried that we'd lose the magic, but it's been a year, y'all, and I'm fucking loving it. I just finished the entire wall and all of season 6 of 2.5 Men. I am just trying to figure out what to do with the ceiling. This is what it looks like right now. It's a bit atrocious. At this point in my lime wash journey, I had slowly lost my mind. I couldn't deal with the splashes of green all over the ceiling, so I started lime washing my fucking ceiling, which looked absolutely atrocious, and then I spilled like half the white paint all over the floor. So yeah, another sunny fucking day. God damn. Welcome to day 4 of my bedroom transformation and I'm losing my fucking mind. It's too hot, no one's home, I've been talking to myself on camera for hours, and the first thing I did this morning was go grab some more paints for my abstract design. I wanted to go with like a colorful river flowing across my wall, a bit on the nose with the whole chi concept, but to be honest, I was really happy with how the lime wash effect was looking. I did absolutely hate the ceiling though. This is how much I've done so far. As I was finishing the yellow section, I was like, I'm actually gonna pass out. Excuse me. Oh my god. I still feel sick. And now it's officially time for my midday daily heat-induced identity crisis, where I started ruminating on why I'm actually attached to inanimate objects in the first place. And this is my theory backed up by my therapist, okay? So here is a huge low drop. When I was younger and I lived in India, I used to have really bad asthma. I still have it, but the pollution in India made it particularly awful. And I used to use a nebulizer and take medication for it every single day. But thankfully, I lived on top of my granddad's hospital, so it was all good. One day when I was around 6 or 7 years old, I was accidentally given the wrong prescription by the pharmacy. So instead of taking my normal medication called Mondeslar, I took a pill called Modalert. And Modalert is basically a medicine that's known for like focus enhancing effects. So basically it just makes you feel really awake. My mom absolutely hates this story, so I'll keep it short. But basically I tripped my balls off for a few days because I didn't sleep at all and basically played Club Penguin for hours, to the point of where I started hallucinating and all the inanimate objects around me were suddenly alive. Like, I could quite literally feel how conscious my reality was, and I'm not even trying to gas myself up, okay? But I don't think I was supposed to become aware of like my consciousness that early in life. And I also hallucinated penguins, by the way. Puffles, the Ninja Dojo, the iceberg, the fishing game, fucking all of it. Also, I decided to pull a bit of a Michelangelo and paint my Sistine Chapel because I fucking hated this lime wash on the ceiling, so I had to paint it white again. Anyways, back to the story. In my hallucination-fueled nights, I would write horrible poetry about what I was seeing, and if y'all are interested, I'll read some out to you. It's absolutely terrible. I literally did the whole ayahuasca to poet philosopher pipeline. Oh my god, it looks like such a 2016 like, you know. What am I even fucking saying? I'm so tired. In this room for 3 days straight, 4 days straight. Guys, we have some sad news. Basically, one of my friends was like, hey, have you seen Sarah's room yet? When he was just talking to them. Then he was like, what did she do? What do you mean? Like, what is she doing to my room? He knows something's happening. Now let's talk about furnishing. This is when I did all of my feng shui research, which I've decided to apply to my bedroom. Step number 1 is chi, which means like the flow of energy in your room. There is definitely no flow of energy in this fucking room apart from my fan, which I put on blast. Number 2 is yin and yang. We want to have like a good balance of colors. Again, there is no balance of colors going on here. It is just badly painted, uncompleted murals. So This will be nice. Number 3 are the 5 elements which are used to balance the energies in the room. These are, and I'm reading them out so I don't get this wrong: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. I don't think any of that shit is in here apart from my radiator, which is, yeah. It's still the same day. I physically cannot do this tomorrow. We have like a whole IKEA shipment coming, which means it's 7 p.m. and we have to still lock in. Coming back to my huge load drop, I think you guys can understand why I'm friends with all the inanimate objects in my room, because they were never inanimate to me. I also think the fact that I moved houses so much and countries probably adds to this a little bit. Like, by personifying the little trinkets in my room, I could feel a sense of home in my new environments. Actually, to the point of where I had made my bedroom into like a set. Every time I'd move, I'd furnish my room exactly the same. Literally to the point where I had decided which inanimate objects are friends with each other, so I'd keep them together. Now, years later, I know this is OCD. Fucking shocking. Who could have seen that coming? On day 4.5, I guess, of my bedroom transformation, I just prepared myself for the fact that I'm gonna get a huge IKEA shipment tomorrow, so I assembled all of my Amazon stuff, and I think this room is coming together, y'all. The IKEA stuff is finally here. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I don't even know what day of the process this is. I was like messaging everyone like, hope everyone had a happy like weekend, whatever. It's fucking Sunday. It's time to unbox this baby. Imagine this was my room transformation. Like, I transform my room into this. That's not even funny. I'm losing my mind. Avni and her boyfriend have left me, have abandoned me. I haven't spoken to another human being in days. And Lewis is up north. So I'm by myself, chatting to y'all. Thanks for keeping me company, talking to Manush. I'm kind of becoming self-aware of the fact that I am talking to myself right now. It's really weird to feel perceived in your own company. Stop it. I look so like I Superwoman I right now. Hold on, how'd she do it? Welcome to day 5 of my huge bedroom transformation, and I was actually feeling a lot better today, probably because it was raining outside, and I was also coming to the end of my entire room transformation, and I was also so excited to show Lewis what I'm doing. Instead of starting my morning with the usual heat-induced identity crisis, I actually had a nice moment of reflection, and I think it's safe to say we are fucking cooking now. The chi is flowing. Let's go. Basically, I started thinking about why I'm actually changing my bedroom in the first place, and that's because I started reading this book which talks about breaking the idea of getting set in our ways and staying neuroplastic. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change and adapt throughout your life. And one thing I've learned through this feeling of friendship that I have with inanimate objects around me is how much your environment and the things you have around you can impact your reality and subconscious in ways you couldn't imagine. This brings me back to my book on neuroplasticity. As I said, moving houses and going through intense changes in my life for 10 years straight from 2012 to 2022 had a few interesting side effects. On one hand, I felt like I was constantly learning, growing, and evolving. And then on the other, I felt like I'd become accustomed to the chaos in my life, and I started creating it for myself because that's what I felt like I was used to, and I guess like low-key deserved. So in 2022, when we moved out for the first time in my life, I started feeling a healthy amount of stable. I have a beautiful long-term relationship, a really stable home, and the best job ever. Plus, your girl's on meds, so I'm chilling. And I also stopped drinking heavily, and I quit smoking too, so life's all good. But at the start of the year, I felt myself yearn for the chaos again. And I went to therapy to figure out why I felt the need to constantly destroy this beautiful, healthy life I've created. And the conclusion I got to is that I'm just craving growth and challenges. And in my quest to find comfort, I forgot that I found solace in chaos. And the beauty about chaos is that it brings growth. I started feeling like I was swimming in really still water, and all I wanted to do was fucking splash around. But this time, guys, I'm not a kid anymore, and I didn't just have to deal with reality coming at me, but I could have my reality flow through me and create it. I literally didn't mean to even make a chi reference, but like low-key love that happened. Instead of choosing to react to this newfound feeling of comfort, I decided to use my comfort for growth. And this starts with changing my environment into what I want my reality to look like. When I used to furnish my room between the years of 2012 to 2022, I was reacting to the changes in my life built on the fact that I was creating comfort in chaos. But this time, I have the luxury to react to comfort and stability. So this new room is the start to a new chapter in my life where I build from comfort and stability. Let's fucking go.
Let's go, let's go. Wow. I love that light. This is gorgeous. Needs to be over the bed.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Let's go.
Oh, this is so good. Oh god, this is so sick.
See? Interior design. I painted that whole wall.
probing.
If y'all made it to the end of the video, I owe you a forehead kissy. I'm starting YouTube for the first time. I'm not like the best at it yet. I appreciate you guys just like being there with me through this entire journey. If you guys have commented on my videos and all my polls and stuff and helped me like figure out what to do with this bedroom, I appreciate all of you so much. I hope you like the bedroom. I think Lewis likes it. I'll see you every Sunday. I'll see you on the next one. And here's your forehead kissy. Come here. Love you.